The drama begins with the protagonist, Sanji, who is in class but has her full attention on her drawing. Although she is an intelligent and capable student, she usually gets distracted and doesn't pay attention to the teacher's explanations. So this time the teacher scolds her in front of everyone and also announces that she must bring her parents to the school. The next day, when class ends, her friend approaches her to ask what she plans to do about that summons. At that moment, they both see through the window some boys calling them to come outside, so Sanji's friend goes to meet them, but Sanji stays inside the classroom, still focused on her phone. She is actually trying to send a message to her older brother, Sanyan, who lives in a student dorm, asking him to go instead of their parents, but he doesn't respond. Shortly after the boys enter the classroom, one of them is a great admirer of Sanji and wants to get close to her, but even then, she keeps looking at her phone. Finally, her brother's reply arrives. Without hearing the whole story, he tells her he won't help her. Feeling discouraged, Sanji leaves with her friend and complains that her brother never supports her, so she concludes that she'll have no choice but to ask her mother to attend the meeting with the teacher. When Sanji gets home, she is about to carefully tell her mother what happened at school, but her mother speaks first and tells her that Sanyan has returned from the dorm and is in his room. Since the news makes her happy, Sanji quickly goes upstairs to see him and ask for help directly. However, when she enters, she sees a very handsome and kind boy sitting there. That boy is Duan, Sunny's friend, and the male lead of the drama. Sanji, confused, thinks for a moment that her brother had plastic surgery, so she asks the boy when he had the operation. He tells her to come closer and check for herself, making it clear that he is not Sunny. Right at that moment, Shan-chan enters the room and asks what is happening. Duan tells him that if they really look so much alike, because his sister mistook him for Sunny and even asked him about plastic surgery. Sunny-chan gets annoyed with Sanji, wondering why she would think he would change his handsome face, and he gets ready to leave. Sanji stops him and explains that she needs him to go with her to the meeting with the teacher. As always, Sunny-chan refuses, but then she starts crying dramatically, as if someone had hit her. Her mother hears from downstairs, rushes up immediately, scolds Sanny, and even hits him a couple of times for making his sister cry. Duan, who is witnessing everything from behind, is surprised to see that mischievous and manipulative side of Sanji, because she keeps complaining about her brother in front of their mother. Then the mother takes Sanyan away to speak with him more calmly. At that moment, Sanji turns to Duan and asks him for help, telling him that she needs someone to go to the school because the teacher called her parents to complain. Duan initially refuses, but San points out that if he hadn't mentioned the plastic surgery, and if she hadn't mistaken him for her brother, Sanyan wouldn't have gotten angry and might actually have helped her. Duan admits that she's right, and as he leaves he asks her name and which school she attends, although she isn't completely sure he will really show up. This part corresponds to a memory from the past. From there, the story jumps to the present. 3 years later, San is now older, and when she goes downstairs, she sees that her brother Sanyan has returned home after a long time. She decides not to talk to him because he almost never replied to her messages while he was away. However, in the dorm room, Sani insists that she should greet him better, and little by little she agrees. During lunch, Sani asks his father for the car keys because he has to go pick up his luggage and also that of some friends, since their student residence changed and is now closer to the house. At that moment, Sanji realizes that one of those friends is probably Duan, and she asks her brother if she can go with him to help with the luggage and thus spend time with him. Sanyan at first tells her no, but their parents intervene and convince him to take her. After school, Sanji arrives at her brother's new dorm to help with the luggage. As soon as she arrives, she recognizes her father's car, and when she looks inside, she sees a fox plush toy she likes. As she picks it up, Duan appears, wondering who was touching his things. Sanji is surprised to see him again after so long, and she also becomes nervous because he is still very attractive. Duan recognizes her immediately and remembers that she was Sani's younger sister. Then she explains that she is no longer a little girl, that she is now in her second year of high school and not in elementary school like before. Although he jokes about whether she's really not a little girl if she's taking the plush toy, he also comments that he was going to throw it away, but Sanji keeps it because even though she has grown up, She still likes those things. Dwan laughs and reminds her that he did her a favor 3 years ago. Meanwhile, inside the dorm, Sanyan is sitting without helping at all, so Sanji scolds him for being lazy. When Sani's other friends arrive and want to talk to her, he keeps them at a distance, saying they might scare her. Even so, the friends introduce themselves and start talking with her. At that moment, San asks them if it's true that Sani has many girls who are crazy about him, because that's what her brother had told her before. His friends are surprised and make fun of Sani, saying that they have never seen him with any girls. Sanyan looks at his sister and she boldly meets his gaze, which makes Dwan confirm that she is still just as mischievous as when she was little. When Dwan leans toward her to take his phone, Sanji blushes again. However, he has to leave because he has a job, so he says goodbye. Then Sanji also leaves and does not accept Sani's offer to take her home. In her hurry, she forgets her notebook on the table. Later that night, Dwan calls her using Sanyan's phone to tell her about the notebook, so Sanji takes the chance and asks him to do her homework, an essay she has to turn in the next day. Dwan says he can tell Sani to do it, but Sanji insists that he should do it because her brother isn't good at writing. Dwan laughs and suggests meeting the next morning at 6 a.m. at the bus stop to return the notebook and help her with the essay. Sanji is happy and sets several alarms. The next day, she arrives on time at 6, but he isn't there. She then remembers that time at the meeting with the teacher when he had also arrived late. Little by little, she starts getting annoyed, and just when she is about to leave, she trips and falls. At that moment, Dwan appears and apologizes for being late. While they walk to school, Sanji asks him not to say anything unnecessary in front of the teacher and to simply agree with whatever she says. Dwan suspects she might have gotten into a fight with other students because of how serious she looks. When they arrive at school, Sanji introduces him as her brother to the teacher, who is surprised that someone so tall and handsome could be her brother. The teacher complains about San's lack of concentration, although he acknowledges that she is one of the best students. Sanji doesn't mind because she is happy that Dwan came. At that moment, the classmate who is in love with her, Min, also appears, wanting to know if that boy is really her brother. But Sanji doesn't answer him. Dwan, wanting to look good, says in front of the teacher that Sanji always speaks well of him at home, which makes the teacher very pleased. When Sanji apologizes, the teacher forgives her easily. And now, we return to the present, where Sanji is still waiting for Dwan. He finally arrives with a carton of milk, which puts her in a good mood. Then they sit down to study. Dwan guides her through the essay, but she is more interested in knowing how he is doing and what he has been up to. Even so, he reminds her that she needs to focus so she won't be late for school. Sanji finishes the essay, though not completely, just when she is about to leave. Dwan slips a complete essay he wrote himself into her bag, telling her that he hopes it helps, and then he leaves. Sanji is delighted with the gesture. However, at that moment, Min appears again and tries to make her laugh, although she doesn't pay much attention to him. After school it was raining, and since the weather was bad, Sanji's parents told her to stay home because Sanyan was going to be with her. A few hours later, Sani arrived and looked for her all over the house, but she had hidden. When he finds her, he suggests going out to have dinner with him. Sanji at first refuses and says they're only going to get some noodles, but at that moment, she hears him on the phone saying that he's going to a restaurant with a friend. She immediately assumes that the friend is Dwan, so she changes her mind and decides to go. However, when she gets into the car, she realizes that Dwan isn't there, which instantly lowers her mood. Even so, shortly after, Sani stops to pick up Dwan nearby, and Sanji's good mood returns at once. Dwan is tired and falls asleep in the car seat, and Sanji can't stop looking at him. He notices and asks her why she didn't greet him when she got in, so she greets him. Then, in a relaxed tone, Dwan asks her if she thinks he's handsome, which makes her nervous. Sanyan tells him to stop bothering her. When Sanji says that he isn't that handsome, Dwan points out that he must be because she blushes every time she looks at him. Sanyan and the other friend get annoyed at Dwan for teasing her and accuse him of being a bad influence. And Sanji adds that he's a bad person. Dwan doesn't like the accusation and stays silent for the rest of the ride. When they arrive at the restaurant, Sanji decides not to get out of the car and says she wants to go with Sanyan to the parking lot. Sanyan insists that she should get out. Dwan notices that she seems uncomfortable and asks if she's okay. She replies that she feels a bit strange and heads to the restroom. Just as she is about to get out, Dwan quickly covers her with his jacket because her skirt has gotten stained. Sanji is surprised to see him react so fast. Then he asks her to wait in the restroom while he goes with Sanyan to buy sanitary pads. Both boys feel a bit embarrassed by the situation, but they still manage to buy them and hand them to another girl so she can give them to Sanji. She feels uncomfortable about everything that happened, but she doesn't have many options. When she comes out of the restroom, she tells Sanny and Dwan that she wants to go home. Sanny reassures her, tells her it's okay and not to overthink it because he is there with her. Then they go into the restaurant and order food, when Dwan finds out that Sanji doesn't like beef. He orders a separate dish for her, which excites her because she notices that he's being considerate of her. The scene changes, and now Sanji is walking with her friend Senru. They are going together to a birthday party, and as a first stop, they go to eat at a restaurant. There, Sanji is surprised to see that Dwan is working part-time at that place. He asks her if she went out with her friend and wishes them a good time. They sit down. Senru starts looking at the menu, but Sanji can't take her eyes off Dwan, who notices the way she's looking at him and smiles at her. When Sanji goes to the counter to order and pay, Dwan tells her she is missing a few bills and that there's a tax for watching him. She gets nervous and replies that that isn't true, and that if he were really as handsome as he says, the restaurant would be full. Dwan laughs and doesn't accept her money, telling her that he can cover it. Sanji goes back to her seat in silence, but then she hears Dwan's boss giving him part of his salary in advance because he needs money, and that makes her feel bad because she realizes he isn't in an easy situation. At that moment, Shenchu appears, the birthday boy and the classmate who has always cared about her. He recognizes Dwan as Sanji's brother and greets him. After that, everyone decides to continue the celebration at a karaoke place. However, before she leaves with the group, Dwan stops her and tells her to go home before it gets dark so no one at her house worries. Sanji nods and leaves. In the next scene, everyone is celebrating Shenchu's birthday at a karaoke venue. He is thrilled to have his friends gathered and announces that he wants to say something important. Then he takes Sanji by the hand and makes her stand in front of everyone, which immediately makes Senru uncomfortable. Shenchu is about to confess his feelings, but Sanji doesn't want that to happen in front of everyone because she doesn't see him that way and doesn't want to reject him publicly. So she steps aside and leaves the place. On Senru's face, her annoyance and jealousy are obvious. Shenchu goes after Sanji, and from inside, Dwan sees them both going out. Shenchu confesses that he has liked her since they were kids, and that she has always been his first love. Sanji rejects him gently, explaining that she has always seen him as a friend and that it would be better not to damage their relationship with those kinds of feelings. Shenchu is deeply hurt because he had been trying for a long time to get her attention, so he can't help but cry. Sanji tries to comfort him, but he remains sad. At that moment, Dwan appears, having overheard the whole conversation. When Shenchu sees him, he steps aside. Dwan tells Sanji that she could have rejected her classmate more gently so that he wouldn't feel so bad. She, in turn, takes the opportunity to ask him if he needs money, but Dwan declines the help, although it's clear to him that she cares about what happens to him. The next day at school, Sanji tries to talk to Senru, but her friend completely ignores her, which she finds strange. During class, the teacher starts taking names for sports day, and since Sanji almost never participates, he forces her to sign up for the high jump. After school, Senru continues avoiding Sanji, which hurts her. Later, during sports day, Shenchu runs on the track and Senru cheers for him enthusiastically. At that moment, Sanji finally understands the cause of her friend's anger. She is upset because she likes Shenchu, but he is interested in Sanji. Then Sanji goes with another classmate to register for the high jump. Sanji and Dwan are at the registration table. Sanyan immediately disqualifies her because he knows she isn't good at sports and laughs at her. Dwan intervenes, wishes her luck, and registers her anyway. Sanji prepares for her turn. Dwan brings her a cap and tells her to warm up. Sani starts taking pictures of her, and she asks him to stop because he is taking them poorly, but he doesn't listen. Then he takes the camera and tells Sanyan to stop bothering his sister. The trial begins. The first girl achieves a good jump, but when it's Sanji's turn, she fails to clear the bar. She tries again and fails once more. Sanyan and Dwan tell her not to embarrass them and just jump. She breathes, relaxes, and starts running. Everyone thinks that this time she will succeed, but she trips and falls, injuring her leg. Immediately, everyone runs to help her. Sani-chan carries her on his back to take her to the infirmary. At that moment, the teacher remembers Dwan and comments that he was Sanji's brother, the one he had met before at school. So he asks who the other boy is. To cover the situation, Sanji says that Sanyan is her dad, and Dwan goes along with it, saying that he is the father. Sani gets furious because she called him father and says that annoys him more than the fall. He puts her down, and then Dwan carries her to the infirmary. In the medical room, Dwan carefully applies medicine to her leg, and she is happy that he is so kind and attentive. Then Sanyan arrives and takes her home. On the way, Sanji mentions that Dwan is not only considerate with her, but also with the other girls, which leaves her a little discouraged. However, her brother gives her a chocolate to make up for his earlier anger, and she feels happy again. The next day, Sanji has extra classes, and when they finish, she calls her brother to pick her up. However, Sani tells her that he can't, and that Dwan will come to take her home. At that moment, Senru approaches and asks if she wants to go shopping with her. Sanji is happy because she thinks her friend is no longer upset, but in reality, Senru has another intention. Meanwhile, Dwan arrives at Sanji's school but doesn't find her. He asks the guard to check the classroom, although the guard says there is no one there. Then Dwan starts to worry and searches everywhere for her. On the other hand, Senru keeps insisting on whether Sanji brought money. Sanji answers yes, but asks why she keeps repeating it and where they are going. Senru says they are going to a cyber cafe. Sani tells her that her mother had told her not to go to those kinds of places, and that annoys Senru, who accuses her of not being a true friend because she always makes excuses. She walks away, and Sani follows her so she doesn't get more upset. Meanwhile, Dwan keeps looking for her and asks people if they have seen a girl with an injured leg. A man points him in the direction she went. Meanwhile, Senru and Sanji are intercepted by 3 girls who are extorting Senru and demand money. Since Senru says she has none, they point out that Sanji does. The girls take Sanji's wallet and discover she only has a 50 bill. Then they threaten them and tell them to bring more money the next day, or they will beat them, and if they don't show up, they will come to the school looking for them. Then they leave. Sanji is terrified. Senru apologizes, but Sanji immediately understands that her friend had brought her there on purpose. She then confronts her about everything she has done lately. From ignoring her at school to not sitting with her on sports day. Hurt, Sanji tells her she shouldn't call her a friend anymore because she has behaved very badly and leaves despite her injured leg. As she walks away, she starts feeling worse because, besides the pain, she now feels defenseless. At that moment, Dwan appears. He finally finds her and asks what she is doing in such a dangerous place. He notices her fearful expression and understands that something happened. He asks if she is okay, but Sanji bursts into tears, unable to hold back. Seeing this, Dwan hugs her and asks her to tell him what happened. In the next scene, it is shown that Sani has already told him everything that happened. Dwan gets angry at what was done to her and tells her she shouldn't hide it, that she needs to tell her teachers and parents. Then, he takes her for a walk along a nice path to distract her and lift her spirits, which manages to calm her down. The next day, when Sanhi leaves school, she sees San Yanashi along with all his friends. They have come to teach the girls who bullied her a lesson. Sanhi hesitates and wants to leave, but Dwan encourages her to stay. She agrees. Then they go to the place where she had been harassed. Dwan and one of the boys go in first, while Sanji waits outside with one of the friends. Inside, they find the 3 girls who had been extorting her. At first, Sani speaks to them calmly and explains that Sanhi is his sister and that they shouldn't be bullying other students. However, the girls ignore him and maintain a defiant attitude. So Sani loses patience and raises his voice. At that moment, Dwan also gets angry, and his expression is so serious that one of the girls gets scared and even falls to the ground. Outside, Sanji is nervous. One of Sani's friends comes out and returns her wallet. She is so happy that she hugs him immediately. Then the other friend asks Sani what he did inside. Sani starts bragging, saying that in the gym he scares 10 or 12 people a day, so this seemed like nothing. Everyone laughs because they know he is exaggerating. After joking for a while, the group disperses and each one leaves. Meanwhile, Senru, who had taken Sanji to the bullies, is transferred to another school. Before leaving, she looks at her with regret, clearly embarrassed by what she did. Later, Sanhee finds a note on her desk where Senru apologizes. In the next scene, Sanhee is taking an exam. When the results come out, she gets good grades in almost all subjects except for physics. Her father says he will get her a tutor, and the first to try is San-shan. He tries to teach her, but they don't get along. Every time Sanhee repeats the same question 2 or 3 times, San gets frustrated and says he can't continue. Then her mother tells Sanhee that the next day a new person will come to teach her. She gets excited and prepares to meet her new teacher. However, when she goes down to the kitchen to get something, she sees Duan and is surprised. Sanhee explains that Duan will be her new tutor. Sanhee is thrilled. Sangan, meanwhile, doesn't want Duan to leave so soon, so he stays joking with him. Meanwhile, Sanji takes a photo of Duan without him noticing, but he realizes it and starts posing. She gets nervous and pretends she was just adjusting the camera. Sang-chan complains, asking why she takes photos of Duan and not him if he is more handsome. San tells her he is cute and runs off. San feels hurt because his sister never says anything nice to him. In her room, Sanhee looks at the photo of Duan and playfully starts imitating the pose he made. Later, Duan officially begins the tutoring sessions. The next day, he notices that she isn't very interested in physics, so he decides to take her to a museum and asks San for permission. The next day, the 3 of them go, but Sanhee doesn't want to go inside because he prefers the play area, so he stays there while Duan and Sanhee tour the museum. Inside, Duan shows her each exhibit and explains everything to her patiently. Little by little, Sanhee begins to take an interest in science because everything seems fascinating to her, especially an installation where a plant projects flower shadows when touched. Then Duan asks her if she now likes science, and she replies yes. After that, she asks him about his dream, and he tells her he wants to create an amazing video game. Then she asks if he has a girlfriend, and he says he doesn't have time for that, but if he ever does, he will introduce her. Sanji doesn't like that idea, but asks him to introduce her first, so she can tell if the girl is suitable for him. Later, she is sitting and drawing, making an illustration of the 2 of them making a pinky promise. When Duan returns, she hides the notebook. They talk a little about how much she enjoys drawing and then leave. Outside, Songyan is waiting for them and takes them home. That night, Sanhee can't find her sketchbook and becomes uneasy. She realizes she must have left it at the museum. She calls to ask, and they tell her that the boy who was with her took it because he was the last to leave. The next day, Shanyan returns the notebook, saying that Duan gave it to him to hand over. Sanhee wonders why he didn't give it to her directly and starts thinking if he saw her drawings, since many of them are about him. To cover up, she decides to invent a story about a dating app, so Duan doesn't think she is interested in him. Later, in the bedroom, San is upset. Duan asks what's wrong, and San tells him that Sanhee said at home that she was going out with someone she met on a dating app, and both he and his father got angry. Duan is also surprised, telling Sanhee not to get so upset, that these things happen at that age, and that they can talk to her the next day. But Sangyan says no, that he's going to find out who this boy is and run him over with the car, because he won't accept anyone deceiving his sister. Sanji, meanwhile, is also worried because her lie has started causing problems in her family. So Sanchan and Duan go to her room to talk to her. San covers her face and doesn't want to talk to her brother because she knows he's angry. Sang asks Duan to speak. Duan asks her what her supposed boyfriend's name is and what he studies. San explains that she believed the lie, so she says he is in university and will graduate soon. Duan is surprised and asks how old he is. She says he is 5 years older and that she was actually talking about Duan. Then Duan tells her that she shouldn't date someone that age and that for now she should focus on her studies until she finishes high school. A few days later, Dan is in his dorm room playing and eating noodles when he receives a call from the hospital. He is informed that his father's condition is not good, so he leaves immediately to return to his hometown. Days pass, and Sanhee begins to worry because Duan hasn't come to give her tutoring lessons. She asks Sangyan, and he explains that Duan had to return to his village for something urgent. Sanhee becomes sad and, in her room, calls him to ask if everything is okay and if he has any problems. He replies that no, everything is fine. Then she asks when he will return and if he will attend her graduation ceremony. Dwan assures her that he will, of course, and that he will be there. Sani is happy and looks at the gift she had been preparing to give him that day. On the other side, Dwan also feels cheerful after talking to her because she always manages to make him smile. At that moment, there is a knock at the door. When he opens it, there is a girl outside. It is still unknown who she is. She asks him if he's not going to invite her in, but he says no, that she should speak from outside, making it clear that he doesn't want to receive her. The girl asks if he will return to his hometown permanently after graduation, and he replies yes. Then she asks if she can go with him to his graduation ceremony, but he says no. She then tries to give him an envelope with money, but he refuses it. The girl leaves. After that visit, Dwan is upset, although the full reason is still unknown. The day of graduation arrives. San comes with her father and with Sanyan. As soon as she sees Dwan in his gown, she is mesmerized, staring at him. Her father congratulates him while she watches from afar. Dwan notices that she is looking at him and holds her gaze. Then Sanhi's father, Sani, and the friends leave, and she approaches and gives him a bouquet of flowers. Dwan asks if they are really for him because he thought they were for her brother. Sani explains that her father already gave flowers to Sanyan and that these are for him because he has been her teacher. She is about to give him the gift she prepared as well, but at that moment Dwan's friends call them to take photos together. Sani takes some photos and hears them talking about how, after graduation, each will take their own path and return to their hometown. When they leave, Sani asks Dwan if he will forget her. He tells her no, and that he will visit her whenever he has free time. Then he realizes he hasn't taken any photos with her, so they take several together. That night everyone celebrates graduation, and Sangbear, although Dwan tells him to drink less, gets so drunk that Dwan has to take him home. Drunk, Sani insists to Dwan not to forget him when he returns to his hometown. Since it is already late, Sanji's mother asks Dwan to stay the night. He hesitates, but she insists. Sani shows him where everything is and then goes to her room. Later that same night, Sani sees Dwan sitting outside alone. She goes out and sits with him to ask what he is doing. Since he was worried about his father's situation, seeing her smile eases his anxiety a little. She asks him what's wrong, and he tells her he has many debts. Sani promises that when she starts earning money, she will help him pay them. Dwan laughs and says he was joking, telling her to use the money she earns on herself, buy nice things, and travel. Sanhi agrees. She then returns to her room and is about to fall asleep when she hears the house door open and close. She goes to see and finds that Dwan is leaving. He says goodbye to her. Sanhi feels sad but also says goodbye. Then she looks at her phone and sees the message he left. He tells her he has an early flight to his hometown, which is why he is leaving now, and asks her to take care, focus on her studies, and promises to send her gifts whenever she gets good grades. Sani then remembers the promise he made at the museum. Dwan thinks she is talking about the gifts for her grades, but in reality, she is talking about the promise that if he ever has a girlfriend, he will introduce her to Sanhi first. The next day, Sanji checks the admission rate required by the university Dwan attended, and finds it is very high. From that moment, she decides to study day and night to enter the same university. Over the days, she starts getting good grades on every exam, and each time she does, she sends photos to Dwan to show him. He, for his part, sends her gifts as a reward, and she becomes very happy with each one. One day, she hears her brother Sangyan talking on the phone and mentioning that Dwan has a new girlfriend. This surprises her, and she goes to ask him directly if it's true. Sangyan replies that he thinks it is. Sanhi locks herself in her room and starts crying because she feels that Dwan broke the promise he made to her. This clearly shows how in love she is with him. Without thinking much, she buys a ticket and takes a flight to Dwan's hometown. When she arrives, Sani calls her to ask where she is. Upon learning that she is in Dwan's city, he becomes so angry that he loses his calm. Sani lies that she traveled to meet the boy from the dating app. Sangyan orders her not to move from the place and says he will call Dwan to come get her. He also threatens her not to see the boy. Her parents also find out and are surprised that their daughter traveled there alone. They tell her to stay where she is and that if that boy appears, she should call the police. Sanhi keeps waiting in the same spot when Dwan finally arrives. With him is the girl everyone had assumed was his girlfriend. Sani's heart breaks even more. Dwan is upset and asks why she came there and if she has any idea how worried her parents are. He reminds her that she had promised to focus on her studies and not get into trouble. Sani responds that she can't keep her promise either if he doesn't keep his. Dwayne calms down a little and more calmly asks, "Where is the boy who supposedly came to see you?" She says it's already over because the boy thought she was too young. Dwan comments that he made the right decision and that maybe he will wait for her when she is older. In reality, everything she says she is thinking about in relation to him. Seeing her cry, he tries to comfort her and tells her that later she will find someone better, but she has to wait, grow, and become more mature. Sanhee doesn't stop crying, so Dwan asks the girl accompanying him for a handkerchief. Then he tells Sanhee to get up and that he will take her to lunch, but she refuses and says she just wants to go home. Dwan agrees, although first he tells her to wash her face. Sanhee goes into the bathroom and cries even more because she feels that this is the end of the story she had imagined with him. A little later, Dwan buys her a plane ticket to return. Sanhee tries to pay for it, but he doesn't allow it. Then she gives him the gift she had prepared for the graduation ceremony. Dwan is happy and asks if she still worries about him, but Sanhee's expression makes it clear that something has changed. When he steps away for a moment, she puts the money for the ticket into her wallet because she no longer wants to accept anything from him. When he returns, she also gives back the teddy bear he had given her. Dwan asks why she is returning it. She says it's nothing and that he can take it as a gift from her. Then she leaves. He doesn't quite understand what she is going through. When she arrives at the airport, Shan is waiting for her. Before he can start scolding her, Sanhee hugs him tightly and cries uncontrollably. Sanhee, who believes her heart is broken over that supposed boyfriend from the dating app, tries to comfort her. At home, her parents want to ask her many questions, especially her father, but Sangyan signals them to be quiet, because Sanhee is already very regretful. Afterwards, she puts all her things related to Dwan into a box, making it clear she wants to forget him. Time passes and Sanhee finishes high school and gets into the university she wanted, the same one Dwan had attended. There she is introduced to 3 new classmates: Rose, who enjoys recording vlogs, Lane, who has a relaxed and confident attitude, and Jin, who is very focused on his studies. One day, Sanhee meets a boy named Ming, who helps her pick up the book she dropped. He is from the sports department. Since Rose likes making new friends, she invites him to her birthday party and tells him he can bring his friends. At the party, all the guests arrive. When Ming appears with his friends, the scene shifts to show that Dwan is also in the same city, his hometown. But he and Sanhee do not cross paths at that moment. Among those who arrive at the party is also the girl everyone had assumed was Dwan's girlfriend. It becomes clear that she's actually just a friend. Meanwhile, Sanhee enjoys herself with her new university friends. At one point, Ming sits beside her because he is interested in her, and they talk for a while. Later, she goes outside to get some air and accidentally takes her friend's jacket. A cigarette falls from her pocket, and just as she picks it up, she hears someone call her name. When she looks up, she sees Dwan sitting there. She is very surprised to see him again. After so much time, Dwan picks up the pack of cigarettes and asks if she now smokes. Sanhee tells him they belong to her friend, but he doesn't fully believe her and wants to know if she's also drinking. She admits she drinks a little. Then he gets straight to the point and asks why she has been ignoring his messages and calls, and since when she has been at the university. When she tells him it has been a month, he points out that in all that time she could have looked for him. Sanhee lies, saying she has been busy with classes and a part-time job and didn't have time to see him. Dwan reminds her that when he was studying and working, he still made time to give her lessons, answer her, and even pick her up from school. Sanhee has no way to answer because she cannot tell him the truth. She has been avoiding him ever since she learned he had a girlfriend. As he keeps insisting, she looks for an excuse to return to the party and asks her friend what time they will leave. Her friend says they will leave around 11 p.m., but Sanhee thinks it's too late because her mother had told her not to stay out that late. She says goodbye and starts walking alone toward the dorm, murmuring to herself. Suddenly, Dwan appears behind her and asks if she was talking to him. She gets nervous and stops. He asks where her friends are, and she lies again, saying they will go to the dorm later. Dwan offers to accompany her, and says she should take the opportunity to clear up any misunderstandings, but she remains silent. He even asks if she chose that university because her supposed boyfriend lived in that city, but Sanhee denies it. Finally, they arrive at the university, and Dwan gives her medicine for her headache, asking her to take it before sleeping so she feels well the next day. The following morning, Sanhee takes the medicine, and when she wakes up, her classmate, Rose, tells her that Ming had been asking about her after she left the party. Sanhee checks her phone and sees a message from Ming telling her not to walk alone to the dorm and that next time he will accompany her. Lane and Rose start teasing her, saying that Ming clearly likes her. Sanhee, however, feels a little sad because she also likes Ming. Then she tells them she wants to share something. She talks about a friend who likes her brother's friend, who is now a video game developer. Lane, interested in games, asks which title he made. When Sanhee says the name, Lane is surprised because it is the most popular game of the year, making it clear that Dwan has become very successful. Rose asks about the age difference between them, and Sanhee says the girl is 20 and he is 25. Her friends are surprised by the difference but say it shouldn't matter if the feelings are real. At that moment, she calls her father and asks him to invite Dwan to a thank you dinner because he did so much for her, gave her lessons, helped her get into the university, and even sent her gifts when she got good grades. Meanwhile, Dwan is working non-stop to improve his game and has already become a very recognized developer. Then he receives Sanhee's message and a smile appears on his face. She asks him when he is free to go to dinner and thank him for taking her to the dorm. Dwan calls her to say that he can't that week, but that next week he will go with her. The next day, Sanhee goes to class with her friends when Ming approaches her. Before he can say anything, Rose appears with her new boyfriend, who turns out to be one of Ming's friends, and announces that they are now officially dating. Everyone there is happy for them and congratulates them. Then when asked why Ming was looking for her, he explains that he has an extra movie ticket and wanted to invite Sanhee next week. However, she can't accept because she already has plans with Dwayne, so she apologizes. This leaves Ming a little disappointed, and Jin also feels affected seeing him like that. When her friends tell her she should go with Ming, Sanhee responds that she will try to adjust her schedule at home to be able to go with him. Meanwhile, Dwan receives another package from the girl who keeps bothering him and puts it in a corner with the others he had already received. He then writes to her, asking her to stop sending things, that he won't even open them, and that he has returned all the money. He tells her not to call or message him again. She reads it, but keeps calling him. He does not respond. Dwan has been working so much that he has barely eaten. A friend brings him food to a meeting, which he eats, but afterward his fever rises. That night, he was supposed to go to dinner with Sanhee, so he calls to cancel. She, already on her way, notices from his voice that he is sick. She tells him not to leave the office and that she will come to get him. He tries to say it's not necessary, but she doesn't listen. When she arrives, she helps him out, supporting him. Half dizzy, he jokes about where this girl is taking him, but she doesn't respond because she's focused on hailing a taxi. It is clear she is very worried about him. He apologizes for calling her girl, knowing she doesn't like being called that. At that moment, they accidentally collide and their foreheads touch. They both stay stunned for a second and act as if nothing happened. Sanhee finally gets a taxi and takes him to the hospital. The doctor examines Dwan and says he is not well. He has to be admitted for treatment. Sanhee stays in the waiting room, anxious. Her mother calls to ask where she is. Sanhee explains that her father had asked her to take Dwan to dinner to thank him, but he got sick, so she took him to the hospital. Her mother worries and tells her that Dwan has been alone since his mother died when he was 18, that Sanhee's family paid for the funeral, but he returned the money, and that's why they always worry about him, because he works too much and doesn't take care of his health. Hearing that, Sanhee feels even worse for him and goes into the room to take care of him. Dwan is surprised to see her there and asks why she hasn't gone home and if she's not afraid to stay alone in the hospital. She tells him she will stay all night to take care of him. He tells her to go back, but she refuses. She goes to the bathroom and thinks she should clean his face because he has a fever and can't do it properly himself. She returns and tells him. Dwan tries to clean himself, but she asks him to let her do it. He closes his eyes, and she carefully wipes his face. She watches him closely, and when he opens his eyes, they are looking at each other. The atmosphere becomes intimate, and Sanhee quickly leaves the room, saying she had to finish before he opened his eyes. Dwan also blushes and remembers the moment their foreheads touched. Later, when they are about to sleep, Sonny checks her phone and sees many voice messages, which she quickly closes. Dwan asks her about Ming and wants to know if he is her boyfriend. She clarifies that no, he is just a friend. He asks if she is that popular at university, and she says yes, that everyone knows her and that she is pretty. Dwan stays silent. Sonny finally falls asleep. The next day, before returning to university, Sonny asks Dwan if he needs anything from her department. He asks her to bring some clothes and his laptop. She goes to his house, sees a photo of herself there, and is happy that he still keeps it. She packs the clothes in a bag, and just as she is about to leave, she sees Yang at the door knocking insistently. She pays attention to him and goes straight to the hospital to deliver the things to Dwan. When she arrives, she tells him not to work too much on the laptop and that he needs to rest. Half joking, he says she already talks like his mother. Sonny responds that yes, she is grown up and likes that he finally notices. At that moment, a man enters the room and asks if she is his wife. Dwan playfully says yes, and that's why she scolds him. Sonny corrects him immediately, saying she is just part of the family, giving him a look to stop him. Meanwhile, Dwan is discharged and returns home. There, he sees all the sticky notes Sonny left him with medicine times, what fruits to eat and what not to do. He follows them one by one and realizes that she is the only one who truly cares for him like family, which makes him happy. The next day at the office, she keeps calling and messaging him, but he ignores her. He still doesn't want anything to do with her. Meanwhile, Sanhee goes out with Ming. They go to the movies, have fun, and then play games. When they return to the dorm, they meet Sanhee's friends, who are organizing a New Year's celebration together. Ming agrees to join, but Sanhee says she doesn't want to go because she doesn't like being around so many people. Ming is disappointed because he only came for her. The next day, everyone prepares for the party. Sanhee appears with a new look, and everyone is surprised at how beautiful she looks. Still, Sanhee refuses to go, so her friends leave without her. Ming waits, but when she confirms she won't go, he feels sad. Sanhee, who has a crush on Ming, feels a little happy when he compliments her. Meanwhile, Dwan calls Sanhee to make up for the dinner they missed because of his illness. She agrees, and they meet at a restaurant. Dwan insists on paying because he wants to thank her for taking care of him in the hospital. While they are talking, Jiga appears. Seeing him with Sanhee, he becomes furious and demands to know why she didn't answer his calls. Dwan tells him to leave, saying he has nothing to do with them anymore. Jiga refuses and throws water at Dwan. Surprised, Sanhee throws the water back. Jiga gets angrier and asks, "Who is Sanhee?" She responds that it doesn't matter who he is. Jiga lifts a tray to hit her, but Dwan stops him and warns him not to touch Sanhee. Jiga keeps saying he can't forget her. The restaurant staff intervenes and removes Jiga. Dwan is upset, so Sanhee puts her coat on him, cleans his face, and adjusts his scarf. He is moved by how much she cares about him. She asks who Jiga is, and he says it's not important, that it only concerns his father. Sanhee remembers seeing him at the house and asks if he heard the argument. He says no, but she insists that Jiga has no right to intimidate him and that he shouldn't stay silent if it happens again. Dwan agrees. Sanhee notices he has a cut on his face and applies medicine. At that moment, Dwan begins to realize he might be feeling something more for her. Then it starts snowing, and Sanhee gets excited. Both make a wish. Sanhee wishes for Dwan to like her, while he wishes for Sanhee to always be happy. At the same time, their friends also make wishes. Rose asks Chin what she wished for, but she doesn't say. She looks at Ming, and it becomes clear that he is her wish. When asked, Ming says he wished for the girl he likes to get what she desires. The next day, Dwan returns home happy, but finds Jay again at the door. She apologizes for the previous night, but questions how he can be with another girl. Dwan tells her to leave, saying she owes him nothing. He reminds her that her father was responsible for the death of his father, and that Dwan's mother promised to always take care of them. Jay asks how he can break that promise. Dwan gets angry, pushes her away, and goes inside. Inside, he recalls his past, how his father caused the death of Jay's father, how he and his mother went to apologize, how Jay's uncle drove them away, and how young Jay yelled at them to give back her father. His mother, desperate, promised to take care of them for life. Later, when Dwan was at school, he wrote a letter of apology to Jae, but she tore it up in front of everyone because she hated him. The whole school found out and started calling him a killer's son. From that moment, Dwan carried the guilt and fell into deep sadness. In the present, Dwan looks at a photo of his mother and silently apologizes, remembering everything he endured as a child. Then his eyes fall on a photo of Sanhee, and seeing her changes his expression. He realizes that despite everything he carries, she is now his true source of joy. Outside, fireworks light up the sky for the celebrations, and he takes a photo to send to Sanhee, who at that moment is also watching the fireworks from the university. The next day, one of Dwan's friends calls him to say he's getting married soon, and asks if Dwan has found someone. Almost instinctively, Dwan thinks of Sanhee and wonders why she is the one on his mind. Meanwhile, Sanhee and Ming join the plan to go to a restaurant. He wants to go with them, but Sanhee refuses again because she had already planned to meet Dwan. Ming gets upset since this isn't the first time she's postponed him. Sanhee then sends a message to Dwan saying she'll come to see him at work. He's happy, but at that moment, his friend warns him that Jank is downstairs causing a scene to see him. To avoid trouble, Dwan exits through another door and takes Sanhee to a different place. However, Sanhee tells him not to come so often, which hurts him. She explains that she had only come to deliver a camera, so he would have proof if Yang bothered him again. Dwan had been harsh only to protect her from Yang. Feeling hurt, Sanhee stops responding to his messages and focuses on her exams instead. When she finishes, she goes out to celebrate with her friends, and they start talking about returning home for the holidays. Sanhee drinks a lot because she misses Dwan. Ming sings her a love song, but she pays no attention, being too drunk. Then Dwan calls her. He immediately notices she's drunk and angrily asks who she's with and why she's out so late. She says she's with her friends. He tells her to stay put and that he'll come get her. Sanhee grabs her bag and leaves. Ming tries to stop her, but she pushes him aside. He says the song was for her, and she asks why, but before he can answer, she stumbles and falls from being drunk. Ming tries to lift her just as Dwan arrives. Seeing her with another guy, he feels jealous for the first time, pushes Ming aside and says she belongs to the family. Ming clarifies he was only taking care of her until she reached her relative and leaves. Dwan then takes Sanhee by the hand and starts leading her away. She tells him to let go. He tells her that he knows she's angry, but it's not right for her to be alone with another guy so late. Sanhee, already upset, says that she's an adult now and can do what she wants. She tries to leave alone, but ends up vomiting. Dwan doesn't argue. He just holds her to help her calm down. She sits back on the ground crying, saying she's fat and ugly. He chuckles a little at her drunken words, but then consoles her and carries her on his back. Sanhee then confesses she has a secret. She likes someone, but that person doesn't like her back. Dwan wants to know who it is, but she only says the guy is kind to everyone, and she thought he was only kind to her. She also says that he doesn't treat her specially because she isn't special to him, crying even more. Dwan hates seeing her like that. When they get into the car, Dwan promises that from now on, he will treat her as someone special and be the person who makes her happy, even if the guy she likes doesn't. Still, he doesn't realize she's talking about him. He reminds her that when she was little, she didn't like that he was 20 while she was just a child, but now she's 22. As she drifts off to sleep, he keeps looking at her. The next day, Sanhee's friends ask who the handsome guy was who brought her to the dorm. She tells them it's the same guy she had mentioned before. Lane asks if he's her boyfriend, and without thinking, Sanhee says yes, revealing her secret. Later, Sanhee prepares to go home for the holidays, and Dwayne accompanies her to the airport, carrying her luggage to the car. At that moment, Ming appears to talk to her. Dwayne feels jealous but stays in the car. Ming tells Sanhee that the song he sang that night was for her and that he's liked her since the first time he saw her. She's surprised and is about to reject him directly, but remembers that Dwan had told her not to break someone's heart, harshly. So, she thanks him for liking her and singing, but honestly tells him that she likes someone else. Ming is hurt, but asks if they can still be friends, and Sanhee agrees. Before leaving, he gives her some food for the trip and departs. In the car, Dwan begins asking Sanhee about Ming, who he is, why he was with her the night before, and what his relationship is with the group. Sanhee explains she wasn't alone, that Ming is a friend of Rose's boyfriend and that he's a good person. Then Duan asks if Ming was the secret crush she mentioned the night before. Sunny is startled, realizing that while drunk, she probably revealed more than she intended about her feelings for him. She quickly denies that Ming is that guy. She tries to get Duan to tell her exactly what she revealed, but he doesn't, which annoys her. Then Duan asks what kind of guy she likes. Sanhee, in turn, asks why he's still single. He says he wants a girlfriend and asks her to introduce someone. Sanhee says all her friends are her age, and he replies that it doesn't matter. This surprises her because he had always said he didn't like dating younger girls. He clarifies that as long as she's 20 or older, it's fine. This makes her even happier, as she realizes that now, being 20, she falls within what he considers acceptable. Duan seems satisfied that he clarified this with her. The scene then shifts to Sanhee during the holidays. Sangyan picks her up at the airport, and she brings gifts for everyone. Sanhee is given a pair of sunglasses, and at first, she doesn't like them. But in the end, she accepts them, because it's the first time her sister has brought her something thought out, especially for her. The whole family is happy to see her, especially Shan Chan, who missed being able to tease her in person. Meanwhile, Duan's friend, who is about to get married, asks him again about the girl he likes and advises him to hurry before she meets someone else. Duan replies that if she finds someone better, he will be happy for her. His friend then asks what exactly that girl said about her boyfriend. Duan explains that, and she said that the boy is kind to everyone and treats everyone equally. His friend tells him that sounds like she was talking about him. Duan denies it, but the idea stays in his mind. A few days later, the wedding day arrives. Everyone is cheerful, and Duan also attends. As always, he starts teasing San, so Sanhee decides to switch seats with Sanhee, and that way she ends up sitting next to Duan. He sends her a message saying he's happy to see her after so long and gestures for her to look at his phone. She reads it, but doesn't reply. Later, when she goes to take a strawberry, someone else grabs it first, and she returns to her seat, a bit disappointed. Dwayne notices this. Again, he starts asking her about her boyfriend. What's his name? What does he study? Where is he? San answers with difficulty, and it's clear she's uncomfortable. When it's already late, she tells Sangani she will go home, but he ignores her. So she leaves alone, and Danon follows her, saying he took Shanyan's car keys and will drive her. At first, she doesn't want to, but in the end she agrees. Upon arriving home, Duan asks her if she will return to the dormitory the next day, because he will also be going back and they could go together. She agrees. Then he gives her a very beautiful bracelet. Sanhee thanks him and goes inside the house. As soon as she's alone, she searches online for the meaning of a boy giving a bracelet to a girl. Seeing that many answers say it is often a sign of interest, she becomes very excited. The next day, Duan comes to pick up Sanji, but he arrives with dark circles under his eyes because he had spent the night working on his game. She notices he hasn't eaten breakfast and offers him some of hers. He tries to give it back, saying he hasn't eaten either, so Sanji splits it in half and shares it with him anyway. When they arrive at the airport, one of Duan's friends sees them together, and noticing how comfortable they are, asks if Sanhee is his girlfriend. He immediately corrects himself, saying he made a mistake and that he knows his girlfriend is Xiang. Duan becomes serious and asks who told him that. His friend realizes he spoke too much, apologizes, and leaves. Sanhee, who hasn't fully understood, asks who Yang is. Duan explains that she is the girl who threw water at him in the restaurant that one time and asks if she really thinks someone like that could be his girlfriend. Then, Sanhee remembers, realizing that the woman who appeared at the airport that day wasn't his girlfriend. Duan laughs to himself because he finally understands that she had confused the director of his company with his girlfriend. He turns his head so she doesn't see him laugh. After dropping him off, Sanhee returns to the dormitory, leaves her things, and immediately goes out again because she wants to say goodbye properly to Duan. Rose sees her running and asks directly if she really likes him and why she hasn't told him yet. Sanhee explains that he has treated her like a sister since she was a child, and that she can't just go and confess her feelings like that. Rose tells her that he doesn't treat her the same way anymore, that he's different now, and that he could very well be interested. That leaves her thinking. Meanwhile, Dan is in the car, going over everything. He remembers how Sanhee stuttered every time she talked about her boyfriend, how she said she met him in a bar, which doesn't make sense, how she traveled alone to her hometown, and how she invented the dating app story. Then everything fits. There was no other guy. It was him from the beginning. He calls his friend and tells him. His friend says he had already noticed. It was obvious that she was in love with him. Dwan becomes very cheerful. The next day, Sanhee is having coffee with her friends when Dwan calls her. Rose tells her to answer in front of everyone. Dwan asks if she wants to go to dinner. She says yes, but not that day because she has something planned, so they set it for the next day. Her friends get excited because she's finally going out with the guy she's always talked about. Shin asks what will happen with Min, and Sunny clarifies that he's just a friend and that she has already been honest with him. Shin is happy to hear that. The day of the date arrives, and her friends help her get ready. When she goes out to meet Dwayne, he looks at her for a moment and tells her she looks very pretty. She is happy, but immediately he says he will first take her to meet someone, and her mood drops because she thinks he's finally going to introduce her to his girlfriend as he had promised. When they arrive at the restaurant, the company director is there, the same one from the airport. Dwan gets up, saying he has to take a call and leaves them alone. The director clarifies to Sanhee that she is not his girlfriend, that she was sick that day at the airport and that's why he went to help her. She also tells her that Dwan talked about her, saying that when she was little she cried a lot and that now he can't bear to see her cry. Sanhee realizes she had misunderstood many things. At that moment, Dwan returns, and his co-workers arrive as well. They ask who she is, and Dwan replies that she is his friend. Sanhee is surprised because for years he always called her my little sister. She stays silent. Then Dwan asks if she wants to leave, takes her hand, and leads her out of the restaurant. Outside, he asks if she wants to go somewhere else to eat, but she is still in shock from him holding her hand. He lets go. She asks him if he asked the director to tell her all that. He tells her yes, that he wanted to clear up any misunderstanding so that there wouldn't be problems later. She looks at him intently. Then he suggests going to the movies. She agrees and texts her friends that she will be late. They all respond excitedly. At the cinema, Danon buys her a coffee, but it comes with milk, and Sanhee tells him she is allergic. He is surprised because he didn't know and changes it immediately. Even so, when she returns, her face is already red from the reaction. He takes her to the doctor. In the next scene, she comes out with a bandage. Dwayne gives her the medicine, she takes it, and then he looks at her and says she looks cute like that. Since she keeps touching her face, he holds her hands and guides her while they walk. She says she feels like a little puppy, and he laughs. Then he asks if she would like to celebrate her birthday with him. She agrees. When she returns to the dormitory, her friends surround her and ask how it went. She tells them it was great. The next day is her birthday. She gets ready and leaves the hostel where Dwan is already waiting for her. Just at that moment, Ming appears, congratulates her, and gives her a gift. Dwan watches them from afar. Ming smiles politely. San takes the gift, but Dwan takes it from her and says he will keep it. They start walking together, and Dwan brings up her secret crush again. He asks if he is tall and handsome. She says yes. Then he moves a little closer and asks if it could be him. Since everything she had said matches him, San freezes and wonders if he has discovered her secret. She quickly responds that no, it's not him, and if it were, she would have already told him. Dwan tells her to think again. Maybe she's nervous, but she says firmly that no, it's not him, and walks ahead. On the bus, Sanji loses her balance slightly when the vehicle brakes and is about to fall, so Dwan tells her to hold his hand. She timidly supports herself, but he intertwines their fingers properly and holds her firmly. Later, at the cinema, Danon takes her hand again, and this time San pulls it away, saying it's not right. He calmly responds that it's okay because she's not his girlfriend. That shocks her so much that she can't even continue drinking her beverage, but he seems satisfied to have said it. After the movie, they go to Dwan's apartment. Sanhee is surprised when she sees the terrace. It's decorated with lights, looks cozy, and there are 2 cakes prepared for her birthday. She gets excited, blows out the candles, cuts the cake, and he gives her his gift, telling her to open it. A little later, Sanhee starts eating the cake when he asks her what kind of guy she likes, since at some point she will have to start dating someone. She says she likes someone who is gentle, kind, handsome, sweet, and tall. Then Dwan stands up, marks his height, and says he meets all those qualities, so he can date her. San is speechless and tells him that he has always treated her like a little sister and that she's too young. Dwan clarifies that things are different now, that he never really saw her as a sister, and that he already knows she has feelings for him, so he asks her to say it clearly. Sani stays silent, unable to respond. He asks her to say something because he feels like he can't even breathe. She thinks the same inside. Then he asks if she doesn't like him. Nervously, she says no, she doesn't like him. Then she corrects herself and says she's not sure yet. He asks her to confess to him a few more times so he can decide. Dwan asks if that's what she wants, to say it several times. Sani answers yes, clarifying that she hasn't rejected him. Then he tells her that if she hasn't rejected him, it's because she does feel something for him and is just embarrassed to admit it. She denies it again and changes the subject, saying the cake is delicious. Dwan replies that he can make it for her every day. She blushes and laughs. The scene changes to Sani's dormitory, where her friends also prepared a cake and wish her a happy birthday. She blows out the candles and thanks them. Lan asks how her date with Dwan went, and Sanhi, still excited, tells them that he confessed his feelings to her. Everyone is happy for her and Sani can't stop smiling. The next day, Sani finally opens Dwan's gift. It's a camera. While examining it, she finds a photo of her body that was saved. If she sends it immediately and asks him, "What does it mean?" Dwan is surprised and remembers that he probably pressed the button by accident while storing the camera. She tells him everything. Sani says it's okay because the photo is blurry and doesn't show clearly. Then, in a flirty tone, Dwan tells her that if she wants, he can send it in HD. Sani becomes very shy and says no. After talking with him, San receives a message from Sanyang, wishing her a happy birthday and sending her money. She tells him that there is someone she likes and that she wants to start a relationship. She says he's a little older. Sani immediately replies that no, she can't date anyone until she finishes university. She asks why she can't, but Sanjan stands firm, saying he won't allow it, and that she would make him angry if she did. Later, Sani is looking happily at the bracelet Dwan gave her. Rose asks her when she will say yes, but Sani says she still doesn't know and starts thinking. The next day, she's at a restaurant with her friends when Dwan calls and asks to meet the following day. She's about to agree, but her friends tell her not to, warning that if she accepts too quickly, he'll think she's easy. Dwan asks again if they can meet the next day, and following her friend's advice, she says no. Dwan is confused and comments to his friends that he doesn't understand why girls change their minds so suddenly. When he calls a third time to meet, Rose tells Sani that now she should say yes, because if he asks 3 times, it's because he really likes her and wants to see her. So Sani agrees, and Dwan is very happy. On the day of the date, Sani gets ready with all her excitement. But just before leaving, Danon calls to say he can't see her because an urgent work issue came up. Since she's already ready, she decides to go out with her friends. The next day she prepares again, thinking that this time it will work, but once more Dwan cancels because of a problem at the company. She goes out with her friends that night. Her friends are surprised to see her at home again and ask if he canceled again. Sanji replies that yes, she couldn't go, and Rose starts saying that all guys are the same, while Sanji assures her she's not angry, but immediately grabs a stuffed animal and starts hitting it in frustration, leaving everyone silent. Meanwhile, Dwan was truly busy. After several days, he finally manages to organize himself and schedules a new date with Sanji for the next day. But again, he has to cancel at the last minute. This time, Sanji's spirits are really down. Her friends take her out for a walk to cheer her up. The story then shows where Dwan was, at the hospital, sitting beside his father. The doctor explains that his father has been ill for 10 years and now needs surgery for a lung problem. Dwan says nothing, just sits there with his father, serious and tired. A memory appears. It's snowing. His mother has prepared his favorite meal, and he is happy because his father is about to arrive. But his father comes pale, nervous, and says he ran someone over while driving drunk and that the person probably died, that no one saw, and that's why he left. Young Dwan becomes furious because he realizes that could have happened to anyone, and that if they had called for help, the victim might have survived. He tries to call the police, but his father stops him. Still, he tells everything. In the midst of that tension, his father falls down the stairs. From that point, Dwan and his mother start working non-stop to pay for what his father did. He even suggests leaving university to work full-time, but his mother makes him promise he will never abandon his studies. Later, she becomes seriously ill and dies. That's why, in the present, Dwan is so exhausted. He has carried adult responsibilities since he was a child. The scene returns to Sanji with her friends studying. She says she's tired of being ignored and that now, she will be the one ignoring Dwan. Just at that moment, Dwan appears in the classroom. Shin steps aside and Sanji is left standing in front of him, surprised. Dwan says he stopped by the university to work for a while. Sanji, still upset, asks if he finally has time to see her. He smiles and apologizes, although he comments that it was a coincidence that he saw her there. Line secretly takes a photo of them. Sanji scolds her, but it's already too late. The whole class starts commenting on how handsome her boyfriend is and how lucky she is. Nervous, she can no longer study, so she pretends to be asleep. Dwan leans in and gives her a quick kiss. Surprised, she grabs him and returns the kiss, leaving him completely stunned. Then she tells him it was just revenge, and doesn't mean she accepted his proposal. Dwan laughs and says that isn't fair, that if she does that, then he can do it too. San says she's going to complain to Sanyan, but Dwan assures her he doesn't care because sooner or later everyone will find out. She is left speechless, and he keeps looking at her until she blushes. Later, they walk together across campus and talk about how much they missed each other. Then they go to watch Ming play basketball and meet up with the other friends there. The game goes well until Ming gets injured and can't continue playing. They ask Dwan to replace him. Sani asks if he knows how to play, and he just gives her a confident smile. When he enters the court, it is revealed that he was a basketball champion. He plays so well that everyone stops to watch. Sanji starts cheering loudly, very proud. Ming also watches and comments that he is Sanji's brother, but Shin corrects him, saying he's not her brother, he's her boyfriend. Ming is left silent, a mix of surprise and disappointment. The team with Dwan wins and everyone celebrates. Afterwards, the four friends talk about what they will do during summer vacation, whether to go back home or stay and take courses. Rose, Lane, and Shin decide to stay. Sanji tries to ask Sangyan for permission to stay as well, but he says no. Convinced that she just wants to stay to be with her boyfriend, she explains that she wants to do an internship, but he doesn't give in. Then she teases him, asking if he's jealous because he never had a girlfriend at the university. That touches Sang's pride, and he responds that now he does have a girlfriend, and tells her not to remind him of old wounds. Still, he warns her that if she doesn't return home, he'll come get her himself. He hangs up. Sanhai writes to him anyway, saying she's going to stay with her friends. Meanwhile, Shin goes to Ming and gives him a spray for his injury. Rose and Line realize that Shin is in love with him. Ming thanks her, and she carefully asks if he's upset about Sani and Dwan. Ming admits that he was surprised, but is happy that she found someone she likes. Shin leaves happy, and her friends tease her because it's obvious. Then she says she wants to interview him for a video editing course, and asks if they think he would agree. They say yes. A little later, Dwan leaves work, and Sani surprises him. It's his birthday. He's happy that she remembered. She teases him a little, saying he's old now, and he replies that then she should get married soon. She says no, she hasn't graduated yet. He laughs and reminds her that she hasn't even said yes yet. Later in the car, she asks if his friends congratulated him. He says no, that his friends don't even remember their own birthdays. So Sanhee secretly writes to Sani to tell him it's Dwan's birthday. Sang calls to congratulate him and also asks if his sister gave him a gift. Confused, Dwan says yes. Sang says that he was the one who told her to give a gift and takes all the credit. Sani is surprised at how quickly her brother claims the situation, but Sanche is right there with Dwan. So he starts talking about Sanji having an older boyfriend and asks Dwan to find out who he is to teach him a lesson. Nervous, Sanji makes a small noise, and he realizes she's nearby. She ends up admitting that she is with Dwan and that they went out to celebrate his birthday. Sangyan asks directly if there's something between them, but San quickly says that she's just giving him a birthday dinner on behalf of the family and hangs up. Dwan teases her, saying that she already told her brother she has a boyfriend, even though she said she wasn't ready to be his girlfriend yet. She blushes and asks what would happen if she rejected him. Without hesitation, Dwan says he would keep pursuing her until she says yes. When they arrived at the restaurant, Sanji almost had to drag him inside. Dwan was a little embarrassed by how sudden everything was, but as soon as he saw the decorations, lights, and the atmosphere prepared just for him, his expression softened. She told him to sit because she was going to prepare some noodles for him. She went to the kitchen and started struggling with the pots, water, and seasonings, trying to make them right. From the table, Duan just watched her patiently, smiling. He even took some photos without her noticing. In the end, she managed to finish the dish. The taste wasn't perfect, but he ate it all anyway and said it was delicious just to see her happy. She lit up with joy and then asked him to blow out the candles. Duan closed his eyes and made a wish. When he opened them, she wanted to know what he had wished for, and he replied that he had wished for her. At that moment, San finally understood how much he loved her. Then she said yes. Duan stared at her, surprised and moved, and asked again if she was really ready to be his girlfriend. She nodded shyly. He took her hand, drew her close, and kissed her. From that moment, they became a couple. He confessed that she was his first girlfriend and the first person he had truly loved. She felt complete. Later, now more relaxed, Duan began talking about his past. He told her that his mother had passed away, that his father had been in a coma since the drunk driving accident years ago, that Jay's father had died in the same accident, and that he didn't have a house of his own, only a car and some savings. He asked if she was okay with all of that, if she still wanted to be with him. Sani told him yes, that it didn't matter to her, and reassured him. That made him very happy. The next day, Duan waited for her outside the university. She quickly went to meet him and said she was going to the library, but he reminded her that there would be too many people there and suggested going to his house to study and that he would cook something for her. She agreed without thinking. When they arrived, he showed her the table he had set up so she could study comfortably, but instead of going straight to the kitchen, he stayed sitting beside her, watching her. He said he wanted to see her a little more because he still couldn't believe she was now his girlfriend. She approached him with a mischievous smile, and he, surprised by how bold she was being, gently stopped her, saying he still wanted to enjoy watching her a little longer. She, however, reminded him that she had to study at noon. Later, they ate, and she was delighted with the meal. When she finished, she wanted to wash the dishes. Duan went after her and tied the apron around her waist, creating a more intimate atmosphere. He asked why she was washing dishes since she never did it at her own house. She replied that she wanted to learn so he wouldn't have to do everything alone in the future. Then she realized what she had said and apologized for getting ahead of herself. Duan just laughed and helped her finish. Later, San studied for her exams in his room, but fatigue got the better of her and she fell asleep on the bed. When Duan entered the room, the sound of his steps startled her and she dropped to the floor, pretending to be reading there. He asked what she was doing on the floor, and she made up that she liked studying that way. Duan, knowing perfectly well it wasn't true, helped her back to the bed and told her to rest when she was tired, then left to let her sleep. That night, he accompanied her to the dorm. She took his hand and told him she liked him a lot. He responded the same and kissed her on the forehead. Both of them left happy. Shortly after, Bang called and immediately noticed that Duan sounded different. Duan told him that Sanhee was his girlfriend. Bang congratulated him and said that Duan owed him that achievement. But since he didn't know who the girl was, he wrote in the group chat that Duan already had a girlfriend. Duan quickly told him to delete the message and asked if he knew who he was talking about. Bang said no, so Duan gave him a hint. It was someone he knew well, who had gone to the wedding and was studying at the university in his hometown. Bang immediately realized it was Sanhee and hung up, saying he didn't want to get involved in that problem. Duane called him again and told him he couldn't back out now because he himself had given advice on how to win her over. Bang got nervous and said that Sangyan was going to kill him for going out with his sister. Duan responded that he would talk to Sani, but by then Sang had already seen the group message and called Bang for explanations. Bang added Duan to the call. Sang Chan called him a traitor best friend and wanted to know who the unlucky girl was. Duan told him he would tell him when he went to his hometown. Sang Chan agreed, but asked him to take her too because she already had to go home. Dan agreed. It was clear that despite the older brother's jealousy, Sang Yang trusted him to take care of his sister. Later, Chin is interviewing Ming, but he is so nervous that he barely responds and only nods, so the conversation becomes somewhat awkward. Meanwhile, Sanhee returns to the dormitory and Rose immediately asks her where she had been all day. She tells her she was at Duan's house studying. Rose, who already knows the whole story, wants to know if they kissed, but Sanhee tells her no, that she got very nervous and pushed him, and now fears he thinks she doesn't like him. Rose tells her to stop overcomplicating things and that next time she should kiss him, so he understands she is serious. Sanhee thinks about it, likes the idea, and writes to Dwan to invite him out for the weekend. He accepts immediately. A few days later, the date arrives, this time at a roller skating rink. Sanhee doesn't know how to skate, so Danon takes her hand and teaches her slowly, in the middle of the practice, and she tells him that today she is going to kiss him, and he gets so nervous that he almost falls. She tells him that if he doesn't want to, he can say no, but Dwan replies that no, he wants her to kiss him. They start counting from 3, but just as she is about to get close, he skates away. Sanhee chases him annoyed and he apologizes. Then she stops, catches up to him, and without warning kisses him. Dwan is surprised and jokingly asks how she could kiss him so suddenly. She tells him they can do it again, and they kiss again. Both are happy. After the exams, Sanji is with her friends when she receives a call. One of the job applications she had sent was accepted. She is happy, but also worried because she knows her family would prefer that she worked in her city and not there. The next day, Dwan waits for her outside the university. A girl approaches him asking for directions and then asks for his WeChat. Sanji sees them from afar. Dwan tells the girl he can't give her his contact because his girlfriend would kill him. The girl leaves and Sanji approaches, jealous. Later at the market, a boy approaches Sanhee to ask for her contact. Dwan sees it and also becomes jealous, but Sanhee tells the boy she has a boyfriend, and the boy leaves. Still, Danon asks why she was so polite. She explains that she just said she had a boyfriend. Then he asks her to say it louder and she almost yells, saying she has a boyfriend. Dwayne, shy and happy, walks away with a smile. Later, we see that Sanji passed her interview and is happy because she is going to start her internship. At that moment in the company, the director of Danfirma suddenly collapses, and her husband takes her to the hospital, leaving him even more overloaded with work. Meanwhile, Sanhee is getting ready for her first day. Just then, she receives a message from Sangchan asking if she has already bought the tickets to go back home. She tells him she is not going back now, that she will stay for the internship, and that her parents have already given her permission. Sangchan gets angry immediately and tells her that she never listens. She explains that she wants to gain experience and will return during the next vacation, but he starts yelling, convinced that it's all because of her boyfriend. Her friends hear the argument. Sanhee even reminds her what happened when she got involved with a guy from an app and asks what guarantees her it won't happen again. Sanhee, fed up, hangs up. Her friends remain silent because they saw how upset her brother was and start commenting on what will happen when he finds out that her boyfriend is actually her best friend. Sanhee says she will handle it and that she was actually planning to tell him today. She writes a message confessing that she is dating Dwan, but when she is about to send it, she discovers that Sangani has blocked her. The next day, Sanhee arrives at her new job full of energy, but barely steps inside when she feels overwhelmed. A colleague explains the basics to her and then takes her to meet her team leader, Yulu. Sanhee doesn't recognize her immediately, but it is the same girl who defended Dwan that night and returned the water to Chang. Without giving her a chance to speak, Chulu turns around and begins treating her coldly. From that moment, Sanhee becomes the target. Chulu gives her more tasks than the others, sends her to print documents, and when Sanhee doesn't understand how the printer is set up, she yells in front of everyone, asking if she comes from another world and how it's possible that she doesn't know how to use something so basic. Sanhee feels humiliated but doesn't respond. That night, she leaves the office exhausted and sits on the stairs. Her mom calls to ask how her first day went, and Sanhee, so as not to worry her, says everything went well. Just then, Dwan appears with flowers and hugs her tightly. He starts asking questions like her dad would, if she ate, if she was treated well, if they gave her too much work. She laughs and tells him he sounds just like her brother. Then he gives her a stress relief toy and tells her to use it whenever she wants to hit someone. Sanhee laughs even more because the toy looks like Sean and starts hitting it. Dwan looks at her and asks if she fought with her brother. She is surprised he noticed, and he tells her he isn't blind. Sanhee ends up telling him everything, and he jokes that at this rate, she will soon have to buy him another toy. The next day, the situation doesn't improve. She continues getting extra work, being called for everything. and interrupted even when she is focused. Sani gets so stressed that she forgets to have lunch. Dwan calls to check how things are going, and she lies, saying everyone is kind. Just then, Shulu yells at her for talking on the phone during work hours, and Dwan realizes something is wrong. That night, everyone leaves the office except Sani. She stays to finish the reports. When she finally tells Yulu she is done, Yulu tells her to leave the papers in her office and take another box to keep working. Sani feels hurt because she sees it's not just a task, but that she's being targeted on purpose. At the same time, Dwan is also working late because the director is sick. His food arrives with Sani's name on the bag, and everyone at the company notices it's from his girlfriend and wants to try it. He doesn't give them any, takes a photo of it and sends it to her, thanking her and asking if she has eaten. She replies that she hasn't. Then another employee, still there, asks why she hasn't left yet. Dwan, surprised, tells Sani to wait where he is and not to go back to the dorm alone. He comes quickly and goes out to look for her. When he arrives, she looks tired. He tells her that if she wants, she can hug him. She doesn't hesitate and hugs him tightly, telling him she missed him. He asks if she's feeling better, and she says yes, that seeing him and hugging him recharges her. He asks for another recharge, and she hugs him even tighter. At that moment, he gets a call from Yulu. Dwan tells her to answer, but Sani doesn't want to. In the end, she takes the call, and the boss assigns her more work. Sani gets upset inside but doesn't tell Dwan, just goes with him. That night in the dormitory, Sani continues working on the files she was sent, while at the same time Dwan is also working at his company because his workload increased. The next morning, when she leaves the hostel, she sees him asleep in the car, wearing the same clothes as the previous day. She gets in and asks if he worked all night. He says no, not that much. She, a little jealous, asks if he has another girlfriend because he's dressed the same. He laughs and says that with her alone, he has enough. Sani realizes that he is making a huge effort just to pick her up and tells him he didn't have to, that he should have rested. Dwan responds that picking her up is the most important part of his day and that he does it because he wants to. She feels happy. When they arrive at the company, he doesn't let her get out yet. She leans in and kisses him. At that moment, Yulu sees them from the window. Immediately, she calls Yang and tells him she saw Dwan with the same girl from the restaurant, and this time they were clearly together. Yang realizes that the girl is not just a friend but his girlfriend, and his anger begins to grow. Later, Yulu calls Sani to her office and gives her a complicated task. Sani, who is still learning the company system, asks again to make sure she does it correctly, but Shulu gets upset immediately and yells at her in front of everyone, making the entire office go silent and watch her. A senior colleague, who had already noticed, intervenes with another topic to distract Shulu and quickly gestures for Sani to leave. She returned to her desk, scared, took the stress relief toy that Dwan had given her, and started hitting it over and over, not understanding why Yulu was treating her so harshly. That night, Jank called Chulu and asked to meet. Chulu said she was going to karaoke with the company team, and Jank asked for the address. At that moment, Sanhi was at the karaoke with the others, but it was clear she wasn't enjoying herself. She messaged Dwan, and he told her to make an excuse and go rest. She then sent a message to Chulu saying that the hostel closed early and Chulu let her leave. Just as she was about to go out, Jay arrived at the venue. Sanhi tried to walk past, but Jay followed her down the hallway and asked if she was really dating Dwayne. Jay told her that it was best to forget him because he was the son of a killer, and that no one in their right mind would want to be with someone with that past. Sanhi, without backing down, replied that she would be with him, and that it wasn't as if she spoke badly of someone just because she couldn't have them. She then explained what was behind it. Dwan's father had run over hers and fled. Since then, she and her family had had to deal with the consequences. It hurt her to see that Dwan now had a stable life and even a girlfriend. Sani told her that she could understand her pain, but that she wasn't responsible for what her father did. Jay then went further and asked if Sani's parents would accept a son-in-law whose father had killed someone. Sani stayed silent, not knowing what to say, and walked away. One of Dwan's friends who was nearby saw the entire scene. Alone, Sani stayed distressed. She began thinking about whether her parents would really accept Dwayne once they knew the whole story, and also felt bad for him, remembering how many times Jay had pointed to him as the son of a killer. She recalled what he himself had said, that he couldn't live freely because of certain things from the past. At that moment, Dwayne arrived, and with her voice full of emotion, she told him that she would always support him, and that she wouldn't leave him no matter what others said. Dwan was happy to hear her so firm, although he didn't fully understand why she said it all of a sudden. The next day at the office, Sanhi received the lunch he had sent her again, and it lifted her spirits. Later, while walking back to the hostel, her mom called to ask how work was going. Sanhi answered while Dwayne teased her with small touches, and she told him to calm down. While they were hugging, another call came in. It was Sangyan. He asked where she was, and she told him he could see her, that he wasn't blind. He arrived furious, and seeing Dwan holding his sister's hand, he understood everything. Sanhi tried to explain at that moment, but Sangyan was too upset. He told his sister to enter the hostel, but she hid behind Dwan. Dwan tried to take the blame and said that he had confessed to her first, but Sangyan grabbed him by the arm and took him away. He brought him to a secluded place and hit him hard. He called him a traitor and scolded him for choosing his younger sister when there were so many other girls around. Dwan, without defending himself, said that he and Sanhi had been dating for a month and a half and that their feelings were real. Sangyan refused to believe him. Dwan then told him that if he wanted to keep hitting him, he could do it until he felt calm, but that it wouldn't change how he felt about her. Slowly, Sangmo told him to go home and said he needed time to process everything. They went together to Dwan's apartment. Sangyang saw a pair of women's slippers and realized that Sanhi had been there. He opened the refrigerator and found it full of things his sister liked, even strawberries. Dwan tried to stop him from touching them because they were for his girlfriend. Sangyang was surprised. Then he saw a photo of the two of them and understood that the relationship hadn't started yesterday, but had been going on for some time. Later, when Dwan returned to his room, Sani asked him what had happened with her brother. Dwan gently lied and told her that Sang had accepted their relationship. Believing him, she was happy. The next day, Dwan came to pick Sanhi up after work wearing a mask and saying he had a cold, but when she saw him up close, she noticed the bruises hidden on his face and immediately understood what had happened. She got furious, remembering the previous night, and went straight to find Sangyang. As soon as she faced him, she started hitting him with rage and yelling at him for hurting her boyfriend. Sang was surprised by how protective she was of Dwan, though at the same time he found it amusing to see how much she cared for him. Then she reminded him that he had gone all the way there just to see her and hadn't even offered him a glass of water. Later at dinner, Dwan began serving food to Sanhi with complete naturalness, as if they were already a couple sitting together. Sanyan, who was watching them, got annoyed by so much public affection and told them to stop behaving that way. However, Sanhi deliberately gave Dwan even more food to tease him. Sanyi again asked them to stop, but neither of them paid attention. Later in the car, with Sanyan asleep in the back seat, Dwan leaned in and kissed Sani, saying he had been holding back all morning. She smiled, opened the door to get out, and before leaving, woke her brother to remind him that Dwan wasn't his chauffeur and that he should move to the front seat. As she left, she blew a kiss, and Dwan returned it. Sani, half awake, turned his face away, pretending to be annoyed. On the way back, Dwan told Sani he planned to return to the office, but would drop him off first. Sani-chan, instead of getting out, insisted on going with him. Later, while watching Dwan working non-stop, he realized how overloaded he was, and asked why he was pushing himself so hard. Dwayne explained that the company director was sick, and when she recovered, his workload would decrease, and he asked him not to tell Sanhi so she wouldn't worry. Sung-chan agreed. The next day, one of Dwan's friends told him that he had seen his girlfriend arguing with a girl who always appeared downstairs causing a scene. Dwan immediately understood it was Yang and went to confront her. This time, he didn't act patiently. He firmly warned her that if she came near Sanhai or bothered her again, he would report her to the police. He made it clear that he had tolerated many things in the past because of their families. But now there was someone he wanted to protect, and he wouldn't negotiate on that. Seeing him so serious, Yang realized she had completely lost him. Meanwhile, at the company, Sanhi was in a meeting. There was a problem with a project, and the team was brainstorming ideas. When it was her turn to speak, she proposed a clear solution and everyone was satisfied. Her idea was better than the one Yulu had presented, so Sani's proposal was approved, and she didn't take it well. As soon as the meeting ended, he took her aside and scolded her, saying that she should have consulted him first. Then, with ill intent, he told her that girls who only knew how to take other people's boyfriends would never understand how things were done in a company. That really hurt Sanhee because she realized it was no longer just a work issue but a direct attack. As she left the building, she ran into Sang-yan, who was about to leave. He told her he was leaving that night because he had work. Sanhee felt sad because she had asked for the day off to take him out. Sanhee, seeing her suddenly cry, realized there was something more and asked if someone was bothering her. She denied it because she didn't want to create more problems, so he told her that if she wasn't comfortable, she could quit that job without worry that the family had money and he could personally give her more. But Sanhee said no, that she wanted to handle it on her own. At that moment, Dwan arrived, saw her crying, and thought Sang-yan had said something. He went to hug her, but Sang-yan explained that it wasn't about him, but about work. Sanhee hit him, so to speak, in front of Dwan, but Sang-yan replied that he was just trying to help. Before leaving, he told her he was leaving her with her boyfriend and that she should behave, making it clear that he had already accepted the relationship. Later, while they were walking, Dwan told her that he knew she had met with Jay, which was why he had gone to warn her. He was upset because she hadn't told him. Sanhee apologized and promised that from that moment on, she wouldn't hide anything from him. Dwan kissed her on the forehead and also promised not to hide anything from her. Moments later, Dwan showed her the apartment he was thinking of buying for his future. He explained that he wanted a stable, comfortable, and personal place, and that made her very happy because she understood that he was truly including her in his plans. That night, Sanhee was alone in the dormitory because her roommates had gone home for the holidays. The air conditioning broke, and the heat became unbearable. Then she calls Dwan to tell him. He doesn't think twice and tells her to pack her things, that he will come pick her up, and that she will stay with him until her roommates return. She tries to refuse, but he insists and ends up taking her to his house. When she comes out of the bathroom, she sees him in pajamas and becomes shy. She runs back to the room. Dwan asks her to come out, saying he's testing his new game and wants her to try it. Sanhee sits with him, helps him, and tells him to focus. He looks at her smiling. At one point, she gets up to go somewhere else, but her hair gets caught in the buttons of Dwan's shirt. She asks him to let her go, and he agrees. When she finishes untangling, he doesn't let her go, pulls her close, and kisses her. Sanhee responds. The atmosphere becomes playful, but then she gets nervous and quickly goes back to the room. The next morning, Dwan wakes up, and she's already gone. She left him breakfast prepared before going to work. This routine continues for a few days. Later, when her internship ends, Sanhee brings small gifts to everyone in the office to thank them, even Yulu. For the first time, she tells her she learned a lot, and Yulu responds more kindly. Sanhee clarifies that she knows Yulu treated her that way because she is friends with Yang, but that she is not a girl who takes other people's boyfriends, and that, if anything, her friend is the one obsessed with someone who already has a partner. She suggests helping her find support because continuing to pursue someone like that is not normal. Yulu stays silent and seems to understand that Yang had been wrong all along. Meanwhile, Dwan and his team celebrate the launch of his new game. On the same day of the release, it's a success, and the company promotes him for his work. He's happy because he finally sees results. The next day, Sanhee feels sad because they had planned to go camping, but it's raining heavily. Dwan suggests doing it at home. They set up a tent in the living room and start playing as if they were outdoors. When she is under the table, he brings her closer, hugs her, and the atmosphere becomes romantic again. Just then, Sanhee's mom calls via video. Sanhee shows her the apartment and lies, saying she's camping at a friend's house because it's raining. She also says the apartment belongs to her friend. At that moment, Sanhee appears on the video call. Sanhee and Yan had just taken a photo, and the phone almost shows them together, but she manages to move it. Sang-gan, who already knows everything, laughs and tells her mom to ask who she's in love with. She changes the subject and quickly ends the call. The scene returns to the university dormitory. Her roommates have already returned. Sanhee gives Ming the recording of the interview, and he thanks her. She takes advantage of the moment to confess that she has liked him since the day he helped her with the books. Ming is surprised and about to say something, but she asks him to think about it and respond later, even though deep down she knows she might not get the answer she wants. Later, we see Sanhee in the car with Sani on the way to her hometown. Her parents are happy to see her. After spending time with them, she goes up to her room and messages Dwayne that she has arrived. He is happy. While they are talking, her mom overhears and realizes that her daughter has a boyfriend. She tells her dad, who starts asking about the boy's age and family. Sanhee understands that it's not the best time to mention Dwayne and avoids the topic. Dwan has a few days off and decides to go to Sanhee's hometown to talk to her parents. She, for her part, tries to soften Sani-chan and asks him to take her to a meeting he is attending with his friends. Knowing that Dwan will be there, Sanhee tells him, and he agrees to take her. While she is getting ready, she looks at herself in the mirror too many times, and he tells her to stop overdoing it. Then he remembers that since they were kids, every time he went out with Dwan to a wedding or a party, she always showed up. He realizes that his sister had been chasing him since she was little, using any excuse to get close to him. She stays silent because she knows he's right. Sani is surprised to see how far his sister went to be with Dwan. Sani's car is parked outside a hotel. Sani and Dwan sit in the back so they can talk. Sani, looking at them through the rearview mirror, tells them to have some shame. Dwan is just adjusting Sanhee's seatbelt. Sangyan is about to say that she once traveled alone to his city to see him at the dorm, but Sanhee stops him, saying to stay quiet if he wants to keep living. The three enter the restaurant. Sani's friends, seeing them together, ask if they are really dating. Dwan doesn't hesitate and officially says that Sanhee is his girlfriend. Everyone is surprised when they hear that Sani is his girlfriend because until recently, he had always introduced her as his younger sister. Then he, somewhat embarrassed but determined, explains that he had actually been in love with her for a long time, but hadn't dared to say it before. Immediately, they look at Sani to see if he approved, and to everyone's surprise, he said yes. His friends couldn't believe it and commented that if any of them had tried to date Sanhee, Sangyan would have destroyed them. The atmosphere became joyful. Everyone joked with each other, and Sani ended up drinking too much. Dwan, on the other hand, didn't drink anything because he was allergic to alcohol. When he took her back home, Sanhee, still dizzy, asked if he was really allergic. Dwan said yes, but leaned toward her and kissed her, saying the allergy had already passed. Then he kissed her from different angles, enjoying seeing her so shy, until she blushed and ran inside. Later, Sanhee's mom entered her room and told her that she had seen her with Dwan and already knew they were dating. She explained that she didn't consider them a good couple because Dwan's father had been involved in an accident in the past, and the victim's family was still harassing them, which could affect her as well. She also reminded her of the age difference and asked her to think carefully. Sani, however, replied that Dwan truly loved her, and that she loved him too. Her mother told her to think it over calmly and left. The next day, Sanhee felt uneasy about what her mother had said. Dwan arrived and mentioned that he was thinking of speaking directly with her parents, and she agreed. Later, Sani went to the market with her mom, and meanwhile, her dad secretly called Dwan. He said he was grateful to him for always taking care of his daughter, but was worried about his family background, especially since Dwan's father was still in a coma. He explained that Sani was still young and saw only love, but as parents they wanted their daughter to be with someone from a stable and well-off family, so she could live peacefully. Dwan understood their concern and said he would try to fix things, then left. When Sanhee returned home and found out that Dwan had gone to talk to her father and that he had suggested they break up, she got angry and went to her room to call him. She told him that for her, he was the right person and that he shouldn't listen to what others said. Dwan pretended to be fine and told her he had to return to his hometown for an urgent work matter and that she shouldn't worry and should rest. He hung up, but Sanhee knew he was hurt. The next morning, she packed her bag and told her parents that no matter what happened, she was going to be with Dwan because her feelings were real. She asked them to trust her and give her time. Her parents didn't respond and she left. She traveled to Dwan's hometown and called him. He asked her to wait there and said he would come to get her. While waiting, she remembered that when she was little, she had also taken an impulsive trip just to see him. When Dwan arrived, she showed him the diary she had kept as a child. On one of the pages, it said she had a secret. She liked her brother's friend, Her name was written with mistakes because she was very young. On another page, it said that when she grew up, she would earn money to help Dwan pay his debts. Dwan was shocked. Sani told him that she had always been in love with him and couldn't imagine her life without him. She said she understood that he was trying to respect his parents' decision, but she couldn't let him go. Dwan hugged her tightly and promised he would never leave her, even if he had to confront his parents. Later, Dwan stayed alone at home, thinking about everything they had been through. He acknowledged that for a long time he had made Sanhi cry more than he had made her smile, and that if she had stayed by his side, it was because she truly loved him. When she came to see him, he hugged her tightly and promised he would never make her suffer again, that he should have told her years ago that he loved her. Sanhi kissed him, and he responded with the same affection. The next day, Dwan met with the director of his company and announced that he was going to resign. He explained that he wanted to start his own company in Sanhi's city, not only to be close to her, but also to convince her parents, and above all, to protect her from any problems the Yang family might cause. The director was surprised by the decision, but understood his reasons, and told him he would support him in any way he could. Just after, he received a call from the hospital. They told him his father's condition had worsened, and that he should go say goodbye. Dwan went immediately. In front of the bed, he spoke to the man who had been in a coma for years. He told him that if he had recognized his mistake that day, he wouldn't be like this now, that he would have gotten out of prison, and that his mother wouldn't have had to endure everything alone. He explained that she had died worn out, that she never said she was sick to avoid spending money, and that since then, he hadn't drunk because he was afraid of repeating the same story. While he spoke, his father's finger moved, but then his breathing immediately stopped. He dies. In that instant, Dwan breaks down. Sanhi arrives and hugs him, letting him cry without saying a word. That same day, they go together to visit Dwan's mother's grave. Looking at the tombstone, he tells her that Sanhi is the girl he always talked about and that they are finally together. Sanhi shows respect and promises to always take care of him. Dwan also tells his mother that his father has now passed and hopes they are reunited. He becomes emotional again, and Sanhi comforts him. Time passes, and they continue together, riding bicycles and enjoying a peaceful relationship. One day, Dwan explains that he will open his company in his hometown, which will take a full 2 years. He asks her to finish university calmly and not to worry. Sanhi wishes the company could be in her city so they could be together immediately. But he explains that he is doing it this way to prove to his family that he can give her a stable life. Sanhi understands and hugs him. That night, Dwan is packing while she prepares dinner. He approaches her and asks if she will miss him. She admits she will, because 2 years is a long time. He kisses her, lifts her up, and carries her with him. The next day, Dwan takes a flight to the city, where he will set up his company. He feels nostalgic, but also determined to do things well so no one can question him. Meanwhile, Sanhi and Link work together at the university to create a small game to present in a competition. In parallel, Dwayne is already settling in, visiting buildings, choosing offices, buying furniture, setting up the space, hiring staff, and starting his company from scratch. Later, he meets his old friends, and when he sees a call from Sanhi, he answers it in front of everyone. They laugh at how much he has changed since having a girlfriend. Later, Dwan asks Shan to tell him when her parents will be free so he can go talk to them. The next day, Sangyang gets permission and invites him. Dwan arrives at the family home with gifts and food. After lunch, he asks to speak with them. He tells Sanhi's parents that he fully understands their fears. Their daughter is young, far from home, and their family had a complicated past with Yang's family. He explains that this is why he moved there, why he set up his business in that city, and why he is working so hard because he wants her never to feel embarrassed about him. He promises that he will always take care of her. Seeing him so determined and knowing he even left his job for her, her parents finally accept the relationship. Dwan becomes emotional and says it's a blessing to have such in-laws. Sang-chan jokes, reminding him that he also has an exemplary brother-in-law. Before leaving, Dwan makes a video call to Sanhi and tells her that her parents have approved. She gets immediately excited and tells him he's the best. She also shares that she won the video game competition at the university and will be awarded. He feels proud, but says he might not be able to attend because the company still needs him. On the day of the award ceremony, Sanhee is with Link waiting. Suddenly, there's a commotion. They announce a special guest. She looks and sees Dwan entering the hall. He had come anyway. They exchange glances and the moment turns tender. When it's his turn to speak, he notices she can't see him well from the back. So he moves closer to the edge of the stage and says into the microphone that he had to come forward because his girlfriend couldn't see him. Everyone applauds and Sanhee blushes while putting away her phone. We also see that Mingi and Shin are now together. Then, Sanhee is called to the stage to receive her award, and they take a group photo with all the winners. Now 2 years have passed, and it's graduation day. Everyone is celebrating, dancing, and laughing. Dwan happily takes photos, watching the girl he met as a little high schooler, now grown into an adult. Suddenly, the atmosphere changes. Rose's boyfriend distracts her and takes her away, saying her makeup is smudged. As she leaves, everyone begins setting up something. When Rose returns, she thinks it's a surprise for her, but in reality, it's for Sanhee. Dwan had planned everything. Sanhee's parents and Sungyeon also arrive, proud of the moment. At that point, Dwan kneels in front of her and proposes marriage, and Sanhee tearfully says yes. He places the ring on her finger. Everyone cheers, and Dwan and Sanhee share a kiss. With the blessing of everyone around them, this story comes to a close. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, comment, and we'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Check out more recaps you'll absolutely love right here.